Hello and welcome back. Thanks for joining. First of all, I want to thank everyone who is watching my channel and also who have subscribed. When I started this channel a couple months ago, I had no idea that my little stories even have interest. So thanks everyone for watching and who have not subscribed to my channel yet, but is interested in what is happening in my life, what has changed since I, together with my family, moved back from the US to Germany and how our life has changed. Feel free to subscribe. And today I want to talk about house prices, the US versus Germany. Because as some of you might know, that we are currently in the process of building a house here in Germany. We had some problems, we had some obstacles with a lizard who was found at our neighbor's plot. We had to build a habitat in order to give this lizard, even if it's over there and then wants to check out our plot, to give them an opportunity to stay and also to hibernate. So if you are interested in the whole story, please, I will link it to this movie here. So take a look and then leave a comment if you also either think this is insane or if you have experienced maybe similar or totally different situations. And just as a funny side note, maybe I also wanted to share how we found our plot. I think we searched for something like for 1.5 or 2 years. We looked in the whole last third of Germany. We looked from this side to the other side, all around the south of Germany. We wanted to either buy a plot or a house. So we were not lucky for a long time. And then by accident, we found on a Saturday afternoon, we found this ad of a plot online. And by then we still lived in the US. So I looked at it, I showed it to my husband. I said, look, we like the area. This seems perfect. And on Monday morning, I set my alarm for 2 a.m. US time, which is 8 in Germany. I called the real estate and asked him about, the details about the plot. And he gave me the details and said, oh yeah, this sounds great. I'm very, very interested. And he said, oh yeah, you're actually not the first one. He already had, I think it was 20 or 30 people who wanted to take a look at the plot. And he had it the viewing when he wanted to show the plot. It was on Wednesday, so 2 days later. But like coming from the US, going to Germany, even if it's 2 days later, this is on very short notice. Thanks for all the information. I will call you back. I went upstairs. By then, my husband and I, we both worked from home. I went upstairs. He worked in the attic, and I told him about what I had discussed with the realtor, and I said, well, now we have 2 options. Option 1, we let it go, because we will not have a chance to go to Germany, even if it's 2 days later, to take a look at the plot, because maybe there's someone else who has the appointment earlier than we have ours, and probably the first or the second will take the plot. Because for the square meters, for the price, for the area, it was kind of perfect. Option 2 would be to buy it without taking a look. Nowadays, it's not too hard by searching on Google Maps, like really taking a look. Also, we knew the area kind of. So it was not fully looked at it, but of course we haven't stand on our plot. So therefore, we decided, yes, we will buy without taking a look. I called the realtor again and told him that we have decided to buy the plot if he could check with the owner of the plot if she would be willing to sell it to us. He was surprised because he said, yeah, but you haven't seen it. And I said, and then I explained, that even if we would love to take a look, there's no way to make it in time, and probably someone else will have bought the plot before we even arrived Germany. So he went back to the owner, they had a chat, and then I think an hour later he called us and she agreed to sell us her plot. And this is how we became the owner of the plot. By then, the same day, we still had, they drafted a contract, we signed the contract, and then I think a couple of weeks later, we went to the notary in the US. We went to New York City and signed everything, the contract, sent the money, and since then, we are owner of the plot. And now, finally, 2 years later, we also start building our house. So this is not our new house yet. At the moment, I'm at my mom's house. I was visiting her here in the north of Germany. She lives in Hamburg, and I just came by. Some of you have sent me a note or sent me a comment and wanted to get a better feeling of, how is building a house in Germany, especially for our friends in the US. So let's use this video to give some details and share some facts about housing in Germany. So there's a huge difference also when it comes to the whole buying process, because I was reading that on average in the US, 17% of owners of a house are in the age of 18 to 29. So this is, especially now for all the Germans, this seems so different, because here more people in the age of 30 or 40, this is the age where you are buying a house, because the perspective or also the perception of the Germans is you buy your house once in your life. Probably now for all the Americans this seems weird, because in the US how this works is basically you climb up a ladder. So you start with kind of a starter house, like your first house, and this also goes back into the number I was mentioning before, 17%. And this is, when you start your house, you start climbing the ladder up. So this is the starter house, you buy it, and then you sell it again, and you buy a next one, and then you sell this one again, and then you buy a next one, and then you climb your ladder up. And versus here in Germany, where it's more like, okay, I buy a house once in my life, or I build a house once in my life, and then I live there forever. This is one difference, but also another difference is that here in Germany, many people, they also buy a house or build a house and then rent it out. So buying a house and then renting this to other people, and the owner themselves either rent a house or buys another house. Versus in the US, it's mainly that you are buying a house for yourself and then you are also living in this house. The reason why Germans doing this differently is mainly because of tax purposes. Because you can save tax only if you don't live in this house. If you live in the house, you cannot claim this in your income tax. Versus in the US, you can claim this in your income tax either or. Either you live in this or in the house, or even if you rent it out, which is not very common, but even then you would get tax benefits. Also, and this is now even a step back, so in the process of buying a house, it's not just, if you see an ad selling a house and then you see a certain price tag, this is not the final price, because usually there around 10% comes on top for the real estate tax transfer, for notary, for the real estate, and for some other documentation expenses. So basically the price you see when you are searching for a house, this you have to add additional 10%, and this is then your final price. So therefore, house prices in Germany are even higher compared to in the US. I think an average square meter here in Germany is around 3,500 euros. Also, the real estate transfer tax also differs from state to state here in Germany. But on average, it's around between 3.5% and 5% of the buying price. versus in the US, it's 0.33. And yes, you understood this correctly. It's 0.33%. So therefore, it's very, very expensive to buy a house here in Germany. And then, of course, at the moment, and you also see this in the US, this is very similar to both countries, it's very hard to get workers, construction workers, and also the material, because here in Germany, we are very dependent on importing materials, and they are currently, due to the war in the Ukraine and other crises, it became very, very expensive. So wood, steel, that are those components that has increased tremendously. So the material for building a house is become much more expensive compared to what it was 2 years ago. So which even increases the cost of building a house. I don't want to complain all the time about how expensive it is to build our house. I just wanted to use this video to give you an understanding of what it means to build or buy a house here in Germany versus in the US. I hope you enjoy this video, and if so, please give me a thumbs up or even subscribe to my channel for free. And if you activate the bell, you will get notified when I upload new videos. And for now, I wish you a wonderful day and talk soon. Bye.